And I ain't driving my truck through DC again, through those parking lots where I'm just
we're going,
almost scraping the tops.
Parking garage, right? He's driving his truck, right?
Okay.
Hand out the window, holding the roof of the truck, making sure he's not going to scrape it against the roof of the garage.
Don't put your hand there.
Was literal inches away from hitting the top of it. We were just clear of.
Yeah, but you realize if your hand is there
like he's just like feel how close it is.
Oh, but not like where you would pinch your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to lose a hand.
I was going slow, and it wasn't my hand.
You don't have to go.
You can
fast.
always
Wasn't my hand.
You can always
Whose
put it
hand was
in.
it?
You can always put it in your
Whose hand was
It
it?
was his hand.
Was it my hand? I don't remember doing anything so stupid.
Yeah, he was hanging out the window while driving.
Well, I didn't lose my hand. They're both here.
Are they? Those aren't your hands.
These aren't my hands.
They're mine.
Those aren't your hands.
No, my hands.
Well, welcome back to BakaTaka.
Oh, is it?
I guess I'm your MC because I'm on the left.
Right.
For the
audience.
For the audience.
If they're looking this way, they're on the right.
You right. So why is that reversed?
Sometimes you gotta be blind to see things.
So why is that reversed?
Because it's literally showing you what it's looking at.
So is that what they're going to see on the screen? Because if that's what they're going to see,
No, that's not what they're gonna see on the screen.
okay. So what they're going to see on the
So it's
screen is inverted. So it's mirrored.
Yeah.
Welcome back to BakaTaka.
Welcome back.
It's good to be here.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a long
When's the last time I
while.
was here?
The last time you were here was over. Let me see. Me and Erik did this like 3 weeks ago or something.
You guys,
And it was like a month before.
you and Erik did the last one. You, Erik, and George did the one before that.
Which was like a month before.
And
that
then
one.
before that was when I was here.
Yeah, which was like.
So
weeks
it's
before that one,
it's
if I'm not
been a
mistaken.
while since
So
I've
it would have
since
been
here.
February when I last did it.
Which yeah,
because I was gone all of March.
Yeah,
I
because
was literally gone all of March.
because then for me it would have been early February because Charlotte was born at the end of February.
Yeah.
February.
Ladies and gentlemen, all 8 of you who are our fans, it's been a while, but we're back.
Yeah,
February?
we're still here. February.
It is now April the 24th
It
of
is.
this particular taping.
It is. We missed,
And there's
Malaysia.
been a ton of stuff that's happened.
Yeah, Doge blew up.
Doge blew up.
Back down to a dip. I think we're at what, 27 cents now?
Bitcoin crashed finally. If you're into cryptocurrency,
it crashed all the way back down to 50 grand.
I guess the big story, at least for markets, whenever I was not retiring. Oh man, before I had a kid, was that whole daily trading Robin Hood GameStop thing going on, where people were destroying the market at the time.
Was then?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
that was back in February.
Yeah.
GameStop. What?
Yeah, that was all that GameStop stuff.
That was January.
Was that January?
Yeah, because I was still in San Diego.
And it's almost May, guys.
And GME's still doing stuff.
Almost May.
And it's almost May. Holy cow.
DFV is still going strong. Wall Street Bets is still hodling. Diamond Hands going to the moon. I got on in Doge. I'm doing good. I mean, even with that drop, we got all the way up to 42 cents. Now we're back down to 27. I'm still up.
So
I got in at
for everybody that cares about cryptocurrency, cool. For people that care about graphics cards, we hate cryptocurrency because you cannot buy a graphics card right now.
It's ridiculous.
So
People are buying them with like
graphics
cryptocurrency?
cards,
And
are, like,
they
the best way
mine
to
with them.
Bitcoin.
So your graphics card, the 2060 Super,
Right.
I got one and I got an external enclosure and I tried it out on my little Intel Nook and it was all right, but it wasn't the performance I was looking for, so I sold them. I bought the 2060 Super for like $500. I think I sold it for about $400 on eBay. They're like over $1,000 now. Yeah, I missed out.
Forget investing in stocks. Invest in graphics cards.
1080 Ti's are going for like $800-900, something ridiculous,
It's ridiculous.
like that. So all these old cards are going for like.
You did an external enclosure? How does that work? Do you just have to put it
Thunderbolt
through
2.
like a Thunderbolt port?
Yeah, a Thunderbolt 2 has the output capacity, I think, of 4. It's either 4 or 8 PCI Express buses on the card. So when you have a PCI Express card, you use like all 16 or 18 buses or whatever. But Thunderbolt 2, the output speed is equivalent to, I think, 4 or 8 of those. So the output that you get on a graphics card scales to about 70-80%, which is still better than any laptop graphics card that you would get.
So it's not the same as it would be if it were internal using the same kind
but
of
it's still better than
but it's still
better than anything you would get on
because that
an actual
always kind of
laptop.
confused me. I was like, how do you get an external graphics card? Like, there's got to be a bottleneck in there.
Yeah, and it's
so
the
there is a
Thunderbolt
bottleneck.
2.
It's just it's
so
small enough that
the rumors are when Thunderbolt 3 comes out, that bottleneck won't be there anymore.
When is that supposed to happen?
I don't know. I think it was supposed to happen spring of this year, but
COVID.
This
so I'm not exactly sure.
Like the fact that we still can't get like a new Xbox or PS5.
You can't. So
insane.
Mobile handhelds, like I was showing you with the 3DSs, those have skyrocketed as well in prices because everyone's like, I'm at home and I'm not doing anything, so I guess I'm gonna buy every system that exists, which is stupid. But.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
Give us back nature.
But yes, we are here. Much has happened.
Dude. Quick talk about. So me and Erik had like roughly skimmed over it like last time or whatever. And I've talked to you guys about this before. So I watched all the Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah, okay. Eric was telling me about that too.
There you go.
Let me tell you something, right? So Teenage Chase, right? Okay. I was watching like a lot. So at the time,
it's like current Chase.
Yeah. Exactly, right? Growing up, we have to follow the basically age restricting rules for like video games and movies. Right.
And everything Quentin Tarantino does is not just an R, it's a hard R.
Exactly.
Hard R. Yeah.
So I'm not watching any of these movies. I'm not allowed to, right? So
as you shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly, right? So growing up, like I'm like watching like a lot more like family friendly movies, right? So I'm like watching all these stuff and I'm like, man, movies are kind of getting boring or whatever, right? And stuff like that. And then discover more into right?
Oh, no.
And so you can imagine how much of a
family-friendly anime.
You can imagine how much of a game changer anime is, right? Compared to like, like watching a Pixar movie.
Right.
Yeah. And so I'm like, that's why I'm getting like super hype in the anime. So for like the last decade, like, it's just been like anime. Yeah, decade plus. It's been like anime. Like this is all I want to watch or whatever. And then like, it was like over time, like I kept hearing you guys talk about Inglourious Basterds. Right?
Good movie.
You guys kept making the Margaretti joke.
Margaretti.
And I'm like, what are they talking about? And so I see it like on Netflix one time, right?
And it's incredible.
And I watch it, and I'm like I've watched like other movies before too, right? Like so like we watched like Jojo Rabbit last year and everything, and I thought those ones were really good. But they were still missing a little something that I was looking for.
Okay.
When I watched Tarantino's movies, it's exactly what I was looking for.
There you
go. It was what was missing this entire time. I was like, why are these scenes like so cut so short or whatever? It's like they don't like actually like let them like go on long enough.
Yeah, they don't
for you to like care about anything that's going on. And then I watched Tarantino's movies, and I'm just like, all these scenes are like, like he like rarely has scenes that like cut. I would say Kill Bill 1.
Yeah,
and maybe Jackie Brown too, probably.
You don't need to watch.
Jackie
Brown is forgettable.
Yeah, Jackie Brown is very forgettable. But like other than that, basically all of like his scenes, like just scenes in general, are like at least 5 minutes long. Like you're not gonna be cutting like to like a new like basically like let's say like you're watching like I know I diss on them a lot, but like they're alright superhero movies, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like like you're needed like some like there's like talking about like some like major threat that's going on or whatever, right? You're needed and blah 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 or whatever, and it's like after like like a minute of like watching the scene, they're like, all right, cut to plane. All right, now we're on the plane. 30 seconds later, cut, you're landing and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, okay, so we're automatically here now and stuff like that. We're skipping the whole process of getting there.
Exactly.
Or whatever. Whereas like his, like I said, his scenes are like 5 minutes long at least.
So
for like
good.
everything.
So good.
And it's so fantastic, like just watching it. Everything's so weird. All these characters are like just bizarre. Like I think of I can't even remember her name or whatever, but Black Mamba from Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah.
She's like crazy or whatever. And then like you go to like anyone from like Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
It's like, whoa.
Everyone's insane.
Everyone has their own like weird idiosyncrasies, and it makes the characters feel much more like real in a sense.
Right.
Like how unrealistic they are.
Or Tarantino himself in Reservoir Dogs.
just showing up.
being in his own movie.
Yes.
Let me
Oh,
tell
he
you something.
killed it.
Let me tell you something. Okay, so you guys kept like asking me what my favorite was.
Yeah.
It's Reservoir Dogs. Like
It's a good one.
I think
For
Reservoir Dogs
for
might be my
me,
favorite.
it's always a pull and tug between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction.
Right,
They're
right.
both so good.
like I'm just like
Django Unchained is fun, too.
like
Yeah.
so I watched Reservoir Dogs like a month ago, right?
Yep.
I've seen it like 5 times.
It's
now.
amazing,
Really?
isn't it?
I just feel I'm like I gotta watch it again. Like
because every time you watch it, there's like something else you miss where you're like, oh, what? That happened?
By the second time I was watching it, I was like, this is familiar. I've seen this before. This is like when I was a kid and watching like a VHS like play like on TV like at night, and it's like because I've seen it so many times, I already knew what the lines were.
That's
or whatever.
awesome.
And I was like
Oh,
watching
man.
it, and I was like reciting the lines along with them. I was like, what am I doing? This is
Chase
crazy.
saying all the F-bombs.
Yeah, I know. Like all of it. So.
I'm Johnny Otaku.
Yeah. But that movie is just like I love that movie so much.
It's really good.
It's like and like everything that goes on to like in it. Like even though like I know like everything that's gonna happen. So like there's the one scene, the torture scene, obviously.
Which
That's
is
hard.
just
Very hard the first time.
Stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
Such a good
When you
song.
watch it the second time, it's like I don't want this to sound like wrong here, but it's very entertaining. It's like because you already you know that it's going to it's not
Yeah.
going to actually show.
It's like that. It's like the
yeah.
it's like the two scenes in Pulp Fiction where the dance. It's
Yeah.
so awkward, and you're like, when is this scene going to end? And Tarantino's like, keep rolling.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
it's that, and then the bathroom, the masochism scene in Pulp Fiction. Is that the
Are
one
you
I'm
talking
thinking
about
of?
the dungeon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
The-
that
yeah.
one.
yeah, that one where you're like,
Oh,
this is what's happening, and like
That
stuff
is-
happens.
I did not realize.
Crazy.
I did not realize that what was going on was about to happen. I thought it was more of like, oh, like you guys are gonna get like tortured or something like that, and then I was just like, oh,
Sure, torture.
torture.
Yeah.
that's a heavy scene.
That is
A week.
big. Yeah, I think that's like what keeps me from recommending that one to like pretty much anyone.
fair.
It's like
It's-
it's just
that's
like
it's rough.
I can't tell like anyone to just watch that because of that scene or whatever.
But yeah, it's Tarantino stuff is pretty unique.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Tarantino.
we like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Still need to watch.
Fun.
doesn't have like I don't want to spoil it or anything, but it's not very gruesome until a specific point in it.
Yeah.
And when it is there, it is like you are cheering along with it. You're like, yes, this has to be violent.
It's a very
Like-
slow burn movie. And it was just an ode to like the golden age of cinema. And just like you're going through that time period with like the spaghetti westerns, you see Bruce Lee and stuff, and it's just like this is old
Yeah.
school Hollywood, because I mean Tarantino is he is a cinephile. Like he just
Yeah.
loves the idea and everything that Hollywood is and has been. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is literally just his
Celebration of
celebration
what
of that,
Hollywood
yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
And then the end gets very Tarantino, and it's like, this is amazing.
Yes.
This is so good.
Like, do you know like a lot about him or something like that?
Tarantino himself.
Yeah. Like
Not-
never he didn't even like finish high school, right?
Ah,
And stuff like that.
really?
But he knew so much. He could tell you who directed basically any movie. He could tell you who casted in it and stuff like that. Even as a kid, because his parents.
So he's a Westaboo.
Yeah. His parents would always go and watch movies or whatever, and since they're like, well, it's cheaper to take him than to hire a babysitter.
Basically Kojima.
Yeah, basically.
Western Kojima.
Western Kojima.
So he knows all this information, and then he like what's it called? He went to some like college acting classes or whatever, but he was just like, this isn't for me or whatever, like rather just base it off of what he sees like actual like actors doing or whatever.
So just give me a camera and I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more of like he's a natural. And
killing
stuff.
it.
And so
Impressive.
he like he spent some time like making his own like his own movie or whatever, right? And stuff like that. And he would do it after work each day because he worked at a movie store, a movie rental store called Video Archives, right?
Okay. I think I remember hearing about that.
And so like he would do that like for this whole time. And he made a movie, he finished doing it, and it was like, well, the first half isn't really good, but the second half is like a legitimate movie. And so instead of going through film school, like, taking all this time, he just went and made a movie and realized over time what you need to do to actually make it work or whatever. So by the end of it, he didn't have a movie, that was worth showing to anyone until like, the later half or whatever, but he knew how to make a movie at that point.
That's
so
awesome.
He wrote a script. People started seeing it, and he started mentioning around. He got it into Harvey Keitel's hands.
Okay.
And Harvey Keitel's like, "Hey, I like your movie. I want to help you make this movie or whatever." So he, the main guy in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Not the main guy, Mr. White.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, the older guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So he got it into his hands, and
because Reservoir Dogs was his first movie, his first feature.
So his first feature, I believe so. Yeah, I think
yes.
he did some sort of independent weird thing before that, right? But his first like box office release was Reservoir Dogs,
and it wasn't very like mainstream,
right?
No, because it was like more like here's a couple theaters that's going into or whatever.
So good.
Like, dude, I was like, that's awesome, man. Like just hearing about it and stuff like that, and I was like, he was 30 when he did that, so I'm like, I got 30 years to go.
Chase, are you gonna be Tarantino?
I only have 3 years left.
There you
go.
Get on it.
Remember us,
Get
Chase.
on it.
Oh, dude, you guys are gonna be in them.
Remember us whenever you reach success.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Give me a role.
But man, I love his movies. They're only like I'm still watching more of them, more like Hollywood movies or whatever now and stuff. But I keep thinking about his. I'm just like, man.
There was a classic I finally watched, I think in January, that I'd never seen before that I finally saw. You know what that was?
What was that?
Citizen Kane.
No, not quite. It was the First Godfather.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that.
I have not watched the Godfather movies.
Never seen before. I understand now why people really like. So you know when we sit and we literally play Mafia, it's literally that.
That's awesome.
Like hey, I need this favor from you, and he's maybe, and then he's like, we don't do things that way, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go do this over here, and he bops a guy, and then he's like, oh no, I'm gonna go bop your guy, and then it's like, who in my family has betrayed me? Somebody's leaking information, and it's just this like game the entire time, and then at the very end, you're like, so who did he had to have? He knew, right?
Good thing there's 2 more movies.
So I haven't seen the other 2, but the first one, it's a classic. And from what I understand, from what I understand, the second one is better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah. People say the third one's like worth watching, but not as good as the first 2. But they said the second one is Al Capone. Like the first one isn't. He's in it, but he's not. The second one is like classic.
Marlon Brando in that?
I believe he is.
He's the guy who kind of like has like.
He's the Godfather in the first one, and I can't spoil anything else about the Godfather.
Yeah. Dude, I was like, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna watch Attack on Titan because it's finished and everything. And then like you just sold me on this. More.
So I would. It's a long movie. It's like I think it's almost 3 hours. Might be a little bit more than 3 hours.
So I thought it was even over that. Okay.
So it's long. The actual like question. If you can make it through a Tarantino movie, you can make it through this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's not too bad, but it's hard to watch because I guess it's older, so it does some like older movie things where you have to like pay attention.
I like that. Okay.
Because I mean it was shot around like Star Wars era, so it's like late 70s the way they do things. So it's just the way they act, the way that they do things is a little bit different, and you have to really listen. But it's worth it because I was like, you know what? I just want to watch a movie I've never seen before, but I want it to be like a classic. And I don't want to waste my time. And I'm like, you know what? Mom likes Godfather. I'm gonna go watch The Godfather. And I was like, yeah, she loves it.
I bet she would love that.
So I was like, oh, now I know why this is so amazing. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm like, just give me something really good to watch.
And if you're ever like, looking for something, like I would just recommend just go on IMDb and go to the top rated and just go down until you haven't seen something and then just watch it. Because it's like what like I mean.
Yeah, that's a good way to start.
Yeah, other than like the superhero movies, which you kind of have to watch like in order. It's just like pretty much a lot of them are like standalone up there and stuff.
True.
At the
top,
so.
That Fight Club's on that list.
Although I did watch
which is an amazing movie.
I did watch what was it, Pan's Labyrinth? I didn't.
So Guillermo del Toro movies are an acquired taste because
I didn't really like it.
Did you watch Shape of Water?
I did. It was.
I enjoyed Shape of Water.
It was. It was
one.
interesting.
Also, I followed your recommendation. Watched all the Wes Anderson movies.
I still need to see all those.
Let me tell you something. His style is so perfect for animation that like Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox are kind of like
are
like,
amazing, aren't they?
They're
so
like
good.
I don't consider them in the same category as like the rest of his movies that are live action.
Right? Yeah,
like,
they're different.
It's more of like his style just works so well.
You did watch Bottle Rocket too, right?
I did watch Bottle Rocket.
I haven't seen Bottle Rocket.
I really like Bottle Rocket.
It's a good movie, but it doesn't make you think Wes Anderson when you watch it.
It doesn't make me think of his style of shooting, his cinematography.
No, because that was before
Everything
he
else-
figured out what he does.
Everything else, like when they're like the scene at the end when they're walking like through the prison or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's just like, come on, man, we're gonna bust through like like 5 seconds or whatever. Like that was perfect. I would say, I think like my favorite ones that he did were the Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling Unlimited.
Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling
and,
Limited, yeah.
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you were a big fan of the Darjeeling Limited. That was one of his. It was good, but it wasn't like
less Wes Anderson-y than.
Not less Wes Anderson-y.
Was it received
the whole
as well?
plot, like just it was a very tame movie.
Yeah.
I guess is a way to say it. It was almost like so just out of nowhere. Like how like Napoleon Dynamite basically has no plot.
Yeah.
It was almost. It had a plot, but it was such a light plot that like if you weren't into that, you're not gonna like it. And
Gotcha.
The Aquatic Life with Steve Zissou is also very similar to that. I think that one is probably people's least favorite.
I wanted to like that one the most out of all of them because I've actually heard about that one.
It's
like,
so
more.
awkward.
But I watched it and I was just like, it's not that good.
Mhm.
Like I almost fell asleep in it.
Yikes, wow.
Yeah. Which is it's not actually that hard for me to fall asleep in a movie.
What did you think of Rushmore? I think Rushmore
I thought
might be one of my favorites.
Rushmore was really good. I wouldn't say my favorite.
That play he did though.
Yeah. Oh my god. The plays were like really good. The Darjeeling Limited.
Mhm.
I think the thing I really liked about it is the train setting, and I also like the concept of the brothers really spoke to me.
The chemistry between
Yeah.
Owen Wilson, Jason Schwartzman, and Adrian Brody, just amazing. Like they could not have found 3 people who could act like brothers
Right.
that don't look like brothers any better than those 3. I don't think it would have been possible.
But yeah, it's like something
so
about
good.
that one. I was just
So
like,
good.
I really enjoyed watching it, and so I would say, unlike Wes Anderson's style is a lot more weird than Tarantino.
Yes.
It's
And,
not as-
and Tarantino's still a little weird.
yeah.
yeah.
His is weird, but Wes Anderson is more of like quirky weird.
Yeah.
And
Because
Aaron-
Fantastic Mr. Fox is really,
Both
really
are
quirky.
extremes, but Tarantino's end of the spectrum for like where he takes things is much more close to like average action movie
Yeah, that's true.
than Wes Anderson's extreme is close to like average comedy kind
melancholy
of.
feel at the end.
Yeah.
I like the
Drama
non-linearity that Tarantino does in his movies. When he does do it in his movies.
Yeah,
It's-
Pulp
it's-
Fiction does
Because
it
it's one of those
Hateful
like
Eight does a great job.
it was like when Chase was saying some movies are just kind of like boring, you fall asleep. And when the movie's non-linear, like I have to pay
have to
attention
pay
because otherwise I'm like, what's going on?
To be fair, with Pulp Fiction, it's nonlinear, and you still have to like.
Which
you
is-
still
which
don't
is-
necessarily get all of it.
When Vincent comes out and like you're just like looking at him and you're just like, oh, so by this point he's already okay.
which is really weird because when we went and watched Tenet, it's linear, but it's not.
Not even close.
And that's what made that movie so like crazy for me because it
weird.
wasn't like
I love it.
I didn't feel like I watched a Tarantino movie. I definitely felt like I watched a Nolan Ryan movie,
Oh.
but I was like, the movie wasn't linear. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so, I don't know.
Like-
But
like
Tarantino
very-
movies are like, here's the plot line, but I'm going to show you bits and
Right.
pieces of it
Yeah.
from out. Tenet was more like, we're in different directions the whole
Backwards,
time.
moving forwards, moving backwards.
And
all
I
at the same
really
time.
enjoy that. But movies that like do that, where you have non-linearity and you have to kind of like clue in, and then you get like a big payoff if you do clue in and watch it and pay attention. I really appreciate that in movies.
Now that you've watched all the Tarantino movies, you need to watch Boondock Saints.
Which
It
I
is-
still haven't seen.
It
Does he need to watch the normal or the director's cut?
honestly, I didn't know that there was a director's cut. I would assume director's cut, but I'd have to look into it.
Gotcha.
But it is one of the most Tarantino movies that's not directed by Tarantino, and it's great because it was someone trying really hard to be Tarantino,
Yeah.
but definitely not Tarantino.
And
It was like, it's almost so bad it's good in a way.
it's one of those cults.
It's a cult
Gotcha.
classic.
Yeah.
And Norman Reedus.
It's about to say it's got your boy Norman Reedus
Norman
in it.
Reedus.
With no
Sam
with
Bridges
no,
himself.
Just falling over
Fetus.
Saint F, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Gotta
so
take a piss.
over stylized and so incredibly Irish for some reason, and it's amazing. It's so good. And there's a second one that I haven't seen.
Is there?
There's a second one,
I didn't
and
re- I
there's
didn't realize there was a
apparently they're in talks of doing a third one for like years, and it's not technically out of the question.
Is it? So I know there's like a cartoon series too, right?
That I think is totally unrelated.
Is it?
I
Okay.
think that's totally unrelated.
Okay,
The,
because
like, almost anime one.
I remember it like featured on Adult Swim or something. I was like,
I don't think that has anything to do with the
okay,
other Boondock.
because it was like a little black kid.
gonna
I'm like,
check.
I don't remember that at all in
Yeah.
Boondock
Yeah,
Saints.
yeah.
But there's another movie I was just reminded of doing all
That
that.
is the Boondocks. That's
the
yeah.
Boondocks. You need to watch.
Yeah, Boondocks.
So what reminded me of this movie
So-
was some of the overlapping actors and the butler from guy from Dark Knight. It's the black guy that narrates March of the
Morgan
Penguin.
Freeman.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to go. I'm pretty sure he's in this. You need to watch Seven.
7. Yes, Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Kevin Spacey.
It's another one of those movies that.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
So it's linear, but it messes with you a
It's
lot.
very-
It's like a mystery thriller, but
Okay.
It's a psychological thriller, and it's very dark and gruesome,
and the ending
and
is
it's
gonna
graphic.
kill you.
but it is
It's good.
a good movie. You also,
It's
if you're gonna watch 7, you also need to watch Zodiac. If you're going on like the serial killer movie
Yeah,
thing,
Zodiac's good too.
Zodiac is very good. It's got Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal. Just
It's a really good
amazing
movie
actors.
too, and it's just which is a true story, and
Yeah.
it's literally worth watching.
Yeah.
You need to also watch, which has nothing to do with any of those, but just because black actors and I love Denzel Washington, go watch Man on Fire.
Man on Fire. I've not even heard of that.
Yeah, go watch it.
I watched-
Man on Fire, taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, good too. Pretty much anything.
Yes, Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3.
So a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it.
loved
So
It was great.
Book of Eli. Some people didn't like. I liked it.
I enjoyed Book of
Yeah,
Eli.
yeah, yeah.
So.
Also, since I mentioned Jake Gyllenhaal, also watch Nightcrawler.
Oh, and the second Spider-Man movie. Go watch that too.
Which
Yeah.
one? Which one?
Mysterio.
Stereo.
Oh, I've seen that,
Far From
yeah.
Home.
Watch it again.
Yeah.
I have seen it again. I've seen it twice already.
Okay, 3 times.
Okay. I watched. What do you guys think of
Also,
Full
because
Metal?
Zendaya's in that, just watch Shake It Up, the Disney show.
Right,
Just watch
right.
it anyway. Yeah, just
What do
we're
you
going through all the
What do you guys think of Full Metal Jacket?
So
first half.
yeah, fantastic.
Amazing.
The second half boring.
Boring, good. The
Not
first
as-
half
yeah.
sets you up to not enjoy the second
Yeah.
half. Because the first
Yeah,
half
the first-
is
so good.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's so
and
incredible.
by first half, we're referring to the
You
training.
know.
The training, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Up until you know what.
until they hit
and
Vietnam.
then you can pretty much ignore
when
the
they
rest
hit
of it.
Vietnam, it's just like
All right, I
that
get
first
it.
half though.
It's so
Right,
good.
Right.
Are you going through Kubrick now? Is that why?
I was watching some of them because I think so I saw The Shining to watch.
Shining is
I
good.
haven't watched Shining to watch it.
Oh,
I've
seen that
I
multiple
was
times.
gonna try to watch it, but I never got around to it. I think it's still on Amazon Prime streaming.
Probably.
I was gonna watch Apocalypse Now.
I've not seen Apocalypse.
I need to see that. Apparently, it's one of those not cult classic, but it's one of those like
That's not
classic
Kubrick,
film.
is it?
I don't think. I'm
It's
not-
got Marlon
So-
Brando in it.
It does.
Kubrick did like a lot of them.
He did. He did Clockwork Orange. One I think you'll like. It's weird, quirky, dark comedy. It's very subtle with its humor, which is really weird. I loved it. It is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
I've heard a lot about this.
It is so interesting.
Just like weird.
It's so, the story is just, it's straightforward enough. It's like easy enough to understand.
Right.
But it's just the humor of it and some of like the lines that are classics. It's like, men, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Just like genius. And I think his name is George Scott, is the actor. I think he plays 3 different characters
in the same movie.
Or maybe it's Peter Seller. I can't remember. He plays like 3 or 4 different characters, and he was gonna play one more. So in the movie, there's a cowboy pilot, played by Slim Pickens. That's his name. He was gonna play that character, and he was like, "Guys, I can't do 4 characters. I can only do 3," because he's literally having conversations with himself. So good, but not like weird, like he's playing 2%.
Right.
Like he's literally 2 separate characters.
Right.
And, like,
That's incredible.
It's a very good movie. I haven't seen A Clockwork Orange.
I haven't seen
2001: A
that either.
Space Odyssey is great.
Really good.
Very slow movie.
Okay.
But worth it.
Got to follow it up with 2010: A Space Odyssey.
I haven't seen that one.
That one is a sequel, and it was, I don't know if it was directed or written or produced or whatever, but his son, I think, was involved with it. So it's pretty true to the story, which is cool.
I think
Kubrick's done some good stuff.
I think I want to make sure I've seen all of Spielberg's stuff
Because
he's got a lot, and a lot of it's good, and a lot of it's garbage.
Yeah, he's done a lot of like money making stuff, which is fair.
Like,
more power to him.
Because
but not all of it is like acclaimed.
His stuff's like
Titanic.
just really.
That means you're gonna have to watch Titanic.
That's Cameron.
I've seen.
Oh, Cameron, that's right. I get it mixed up all the time.
Plus, I've seen that already.
Did Spielberg do The Goonies? Was that Spielberg?
I think he did.
I believe so.
I think he did.
I'm gonna check.
And he's got some like weird movies he's done too. Like you wouldn't expect Spielberg to do.
I didn't expect him. I didn't realize that he did Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan, yeah, which is.
No, that was Richard Donner.
Okay.
Richard Donner. I've never.
I think he had something to do with it.
Look at BakaTaka becoming like pop culture movie.
It's been like this for a while.
Let's be honest, it's been like this for a bit.
So to get back into the spirit of BakaTaka, so you'd mentioned Attack on Titan earlier. So before we get to this, I don't know what they're gonna do with the season. I've heard that they're gonna split it into 2 seasons. I don't know. So what just happened in the last episode? Just don't spoil it for George.
He hasn't watched it.
You haven't watched it?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay. So from
this was season 4.
So from what I
part
understand,
1.
yeah, and that's what they're gonna make it a part 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we thought this was going to be it, but there is going to be more. Is it going to be 4 part 2? Or are you saying they're going to do like season 5 part 1 part 2?
So the manga has ended.
Yes.
Okay.
It ended at chapter 139.
Did it end well? Oh no!
Wait.
Stop
Where's the anime at?
I don't know. That's why I was wondering
That's
if any of you guys were watching, because I haven't been watching the anime.
I hope the anime's at like chapter 133 or something.
No,
it's
so this season, this no.
If
the manga isn't good,
Okay,
then I don't want.
so-
You'd rather have an original.
So here's what. So I don't know if I can say anything without, because if I tell you what it's going to be
They
like,
find the basement, right?
if I tell you what it's going to be like, you know how it's going to end. But I don't know if knowing how it's going to end is going to be a good payoff.
So,
because
like-
it wasn't a good payoff for me.
Oh, no.
After 139, so
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it was only 139 chapters.
So here's the thing: they're monthly releases. So it's basically 4 chapters into one chapter.
okay.
Oh, so this is a 13, 14 year long manga. So starting from like square one, going all the way to the end. Was it memorable? Yes. Was it a good payoff for what they were doing with Eren? You'll have to judge for yourself. But if you remember what I said about Attack on Titan previously on how I thought it was going to end, that's how it ended.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So if you like that, that's how this
But that's
ends.
not the end. That's not the end.
That's essentially how it ended.
That's how the anime ended?
Which
The
no,
manga.
that's how the manga ended,
anime
and
is not
the anime is going to end the same way.
Is it?
Yes. So if you like that kind of ending, if you enjoyed that particular anime's kind of ending, you're going to get something very similar. And the payoff for me wasn't that great because you pretty much have to do a bunch of other things to other characters.
What did you compare it to?
Code Geass. Yes.
I haven't watched.
Oh, okay, so I don't spoil it for George.
watched Code Geass.
It's essentially a Code Geass ending.
Code Geass
like
after
everyone was
the movie,
everyone's predicting this is Aaron's basically Lelouch, right? And I'm like, it's looking like it, but I'm not sure what they're doing in these last two chapters.
Oh.
Chapter 138 was bonkers because there's a panel at the end and everyone's like, this is weird and gross. And that's where they thought it was going to end.
I've already got like a mindset of
Then
it,
chapter
like,
139 happened and everyone's like, oh, okay, so you're Lelouch, but kind of different. And then it just ends. It ties everything up. It makes sense. Does it go back to all the things that were hinted at in the first couple chapters? It's debatable. I don't know. I don't know if the author was just like, I'm going to keep doing things because it's making money, or if he actually planned this entire thing out. I don't know. But it does end.
It seems like he's made some changes along the way that weren't exactly what he wanted to do. And stuff like that. He just did it more because, like, you remember he's like his first initial like reaction. He's just like, yeah, I just want literally everyone to die.
So, and like I said, you kind of we'll have to talk about it when the anime ends. But
let me tell you something, man. I'm subscribed to the Funimation YouTube account, so in my subscription feed, they keep showing like, look at this clip from Attack.
And you're just like,
I see what looks like an Attack on Titan character, or I see the words Attack on Titan in it, and I like blind card like instantly. I'm just like, do not look at it.
So I'll put it this way. You know how in spoilers for Evangelion people, you know how at the end of Evangelion that like everyone dies, but you don't have to die if you don't want to. This is kind of like that, but more like, I guess we all die, but we don't. And that's where the payoff for me was just kind of like, did characters dying really mean anything in this, or is Lelouch really that noble that he? Like I said, you'll see when you watch it. For me, the payoff, I was just like, this isn't okay, fine, but it is memorable. I will give them that. It is memorable, and kudos to the author. You made mad bank. I'm jealous.
Oh, so much money.
Mad bank.
Like I cannot like Attack on Titan is like one of the things that like I think of, and I'm just like, yeah. Regardless of what I think of season 3, part 1, regardless of how the final season goes or whatever. It's one of the greatest.
It's going to be.
It
So
fantastic.
I'm gonna say this much. There's things that happen in Attack on Titan where there's obviously going to be foreshadowing and everything, but there's things that happen where you're like, oh, that's insignificant. But then
and then it reveals it.
So there's one episode where after the coup, Historia is placed as the queen, and they're doing like all these handshakes and stuff, and that really weird thing happens where Eren like shakes hands with her or something.
And then the zap.
That may be the most significant thing that happens in Attack on Titan. So watch for it as you're watching the end of the anime, because that may be the most significant thing that happens in all of Attack on Titan.
What does that even mean?
You'll
I gotta watch it.
I love this.
Ymir going back to whatever and then pretty much being forgotten for the rest of Attack on Titan. That also may be one of the most significant things that happened, because almost everything that happens in this anime, not Annie, the girl she was with, Ymir.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She may be one of the most significant characters in Attack on Titan as well.
She was one of the
She was
really small Titans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is now the Cart Titan or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, the Cart Titan is her?
I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but that's supposed. Well, she's
the one with the long face.
Yeah.
That's her.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a spoiler.
So
Didn't know that.
all right. So it isn't because it's not really explained in the manga. It's just kind of like, oh, you're that Titan now, but who are you? And why are these powers different? All I'm saying is that's significant. Not as significant as a handshake, but that character you gotta remember. And there's an OVA that's really important too, apparently.
Oh, there's an OVA? I didn't
So
know.
one of the early OVAs where they had that journal, and then they had to go find the person who wrote that journal.
This isn't the Levi one, is it?
I don't believe so. The Levi one's
I've watched the
important,
OVAs.
but it's not important to like the overall
I
arc.
haven't watched the OVA.
There's one OVA where it's technically canon because it's a manga chapter.
Okay.
But there's a journal that they find, and there's recordings of like, oh, I can talk to the Titan, and the Titan said words, and it responded to somebody and did a thing. That's really important.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'm just looking through everything.
so yeah, it's
There's the final season, which I'm currently watching. Haven't
part
watched.
1.
No, it's just the final season, and then there's the final season part 2. They didn't even label it part 2.
so yeah. Like I said, is it?
They have the movies too. Oh,
You-
but
you-
those are just recaps.
Yeah, you don't need to watch that stuff. The only OVAs that you really need to concern yourself with is the journal one is important. The Levi ones are important too, just to flesh his character out
Right.
more
Right.
and see where he came
That one
from.
explains more about like season 3 part 1.
Right. But yeah, it's definitely memorable. It I keep telling myself like there's no way the author set all this stuff up, but then you're like, well, the walls were Titans, and that doesn't pay off until now, which was literally like 8 years after he wrote it. So unless he literally was just like, it's gonna be cool to make the walls Titans, and then he makes a plot thing after it, I don't know. So, but yeah, so we do actually still watch anime here sometimes.
Sometimes.
I put
I
my
don't know if I've watched anything like actually good or just like one-off bad shows this season. I've been watching I'm a Spider, So What or whatever. Oh, it's not great.
Yeah, so Eric's been reading the light novel of that.
Yeah, that's why I decided
and
to
apparently
watch
he
it.
really likes it, but he was afraid that the anime was just gonna just massacre
It's not the worst thing ever, but it's not good.
There's
What else?
So I watched 3 shows last season.
I watched.
And I've only finished one of them. I haven't watched anything this season yet. So it's like, this is literally like, I haven't been watching like hardly anything or whatever.
And I don't watch anime.
I watched
so-
Dr. Stone, Reincarnated as a Slime. Both of those are season 2. Quintessential Quintuplet season 2.
Right.
Yes, give me more. I want Quinn forever.
This is some like harem show that.
Oh, okay.
It's so good, and that's actually it. That's like all I've watched. I've been off. I've been clean in anime for a while, basically.
How's Dr. Stone season 2?
Good. Good.
Okay, like just as good as the first one.
Yes, maybe even better in some ways.
Does it have any of those like light bulb scenes?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
tons. It's good. If you like
You know what
season 1,
Dr.
you'll like
Stone's
season 2.
So Dr. Stone's about like, hey, boom, everyone in the world gets turned to stone.
Okay.
Thousands of years later, one guy wakes, like the stone like falls off of him and he's awake, right? And he's finding out, hey, there's this stuff that turns people out of like petrifies them.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Whatever.
everyone was like petrified. And it's I think nitric acid.
Yeah.
Reflex. Okay.
So he's basically a
Unpetrifies.
super genius, right? Super genius,
Of
high
course.
school level kid.
Dude's
or
been
whatever,
like
so.
petrified for like 1,000 years, conscious, just counting the seconds. He knows exactly what time it is.
Yeah,
he knows like
exactly
how many years, days, hours, minutes, seconds it's been.
The typical anime high
Perfect.
schooler.
So now he's
Literally,
in the
I heard that.
Stone Age.
We watched the first season, the first episode together, and we were like, "This is the dumbest thing we've ever seen." We dropped it, and then I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a fair shot."
You're gonna do the 3
I
episodes.
gave it the 3 episodes, and I was like,
I gotta watch this now.
I love this. I love it. His character is insane, but like so good.
It teaches you about science like along the way, right?
Oh.
So he does it's the Stone Age, but he makes what does he make? He makes
He does like glass and stuff.
yeah, he teaches people how to make glass. He teaches people how to conduct electricity. if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
he does
Yeah.
like electricity,
Yeah.
generators and such.
He finds
making like
he
copper
finds out
tubing
how
and whatnot.
he makes a record player.
Yes, like
yeah.
a glass like record.
He makes a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Yes.
He's making, and it's like
ramen, freeze-dried ramen.
we're talking like some of these things take like episodes for him to make, and it is so good.
So the premise of the show has nothing to do with the show other than the fact that I just want a character that's just gonna show people how.
There's a
there's-
conflict in
yeah,
the show
there's a
though.
conflict.
So like all these things he's doing is working towards certain goals. It's like I need to get
Okay.
here. We need to do these things so I can get there, but also these things, these incremental steps, let us do all these other offshoot things. So it's like almost kind of Minecrafty, where it's like I need to do this so that I can do this to do this to do this, but also along the way those things let you do other stuff that kind of make things better.
Gotcha.
So he's like improving quality of life, gaining people's trust through the power of science.
Yeah. But
They make like a freaking telephone by the end of season 1.
The third guy he
awesome.
unpetrifies is like a high school level, basically like
Ultimate fighter
ultimate
guy.
fighter guy.
Because of
He does-
course.
Strongest
and he-
primate high schooler.
Who? What does he do? He punches like a bear or something like that to like.
Dude kills a freaking lion.
Yeah, lion. And
Samson,
he does.
high
He
school.
doesn't.
So good.
He doesn't agree with the main character. So he's
'Cause
going around and
they
all
got,
these
like-
stone statues of like old people. He's just bashing them.
He's like,
Nice.
we have a chance to restart the world.
Time to euthanize people that can't make it.
So now you have science and you got
Is he
brute
wrong?
force, like just like attacking each other. Right.
Watch season 2 to find out.
Right.
Season 2, oh my gosh, it does some good stuff with his character. Sukasa,
Right.
beautiful. Oh, so you need to watch season 2 if you haven't already. Also,
I
you
haven't
need to watch
watched
The Reincarnated as a
As a
slime
slime.
season 2.
I'm not watching.
The
that.
world building is so good. Why not? Did you watch season 1?
I watched season 1. I wasn't a big fan.
How
You
dare
remember-
you?
Chase
remember
is like, this is garbage.
We had like top.
I mean,
anime
I
of
am the
year.
isekai trash guy, so I get that. That's my
had
thing.
the-
we like things.
We had the top anime of the BakaTaka top anime of the year, where that one was in it, and we pick them all, right? And basically, it goes around the table, so it's like you get to take out something now, and then now George gets to take out something and stuff like that. And I was like, "Get slime out of here! I don't like it." I took a
trash
hit
out
at
of
it,
it.
and they're like, "Why are you attacking slime?" So I was like, "Fine, you guys are being mean. I'm not gonna attack it anymore." So I let it go on for like 10 more times or whatever, and like I was like, "I don't like slime. Get it out."
That was so
incredible.
good.
That's
that was
incredible.
fun. What a weird way of doing what we did, but so much fun. Such a good show.
Well,
love
I
isekai.
feel like there's so much more to talk about, but
been
we've
so
I
long.
think we've exhausted the first hour, so we'll have to I guess sign off and then just keep talking.
Yeah,
'cause
probably
that's
just
what
split
we're gonna
the
do.
episodes up.
So anyway,
Be gone for a while,
that's
gotta get back.
that's on my okay. Let me get this right. On the left, clear on the left. Am I the left?
Nope,
He's
it
on
is
the
me.
thing. He's
George.
And then in the middle we got.
the blind boy Chase.
And then I guess your resident dad, Jeff. This was episode. I don't know. Who cares? The music.
2 episodes.
do
Yeah,
episodes.
but that music is playing right now,
Yep.
and I love that music. The one we can't
hear it.
hear right now, but
You
it's
hear it.
it's going on.
Yeah. I don't watch.
And then when
the
Chase,
videos.
and then when Chase does that thing to where it's playing, and then you don't see us anymore, and there's kind of conversation. And at the very end, he'll cut to something like somebody doing this across the screen because they're saying or they're singing the song and the thing.
Oh no.
He does it like every episode. So
Yeah.
I always like go to the end. I'm like, at the end of the song, what's gonna happen? And then Chase just like zooms in on like someone's eye,
What's up with
and then goes like baka baka.
eyes are iconic.